Hello, my name is Rosa Alvarez, and for the Misunderstood Minds project, I will be presenting on Nathan Van Hoy. I did watch the whole documentary, but this child was the one that stood out to me the most because it was a story that hit home, given what I do for a living. I am a teacher, so a lot of what Nathan, Nathan's teachers and parents saw is what I have seen in my own classroom. So I wanted to take him as an example for this assignment. Okay, a little bit about Nathan. Nathan was a very articulate and athletic child who was always playing sports or could speak very well, and which is why his parents thought that he had it all to excel academically. And until he got to first grade and they realized that he was struggling, he couldn't read. So the boy who loved books couldn't actually read. He did, however, have a great ability to memorize. So in a way, he was unconsciously tricking his teachers and his parents into thinking that he was making progress, when in reality he was memorizing things. And then they realized that he wasn't actually learning how to read, that he had issues with reading and output, which also caused self-esteem issues and discipline issues for him. His parents were very involved and they sought testing at school and outside of school. They contacted a pediatrician to try and get to the bottom of what the issue with Nathan was. Nathan did go through the general ed classroom, the typical classroom, where he wasn't very successful. He was falling behind, to then get moved to a resource classroom where he did make some growth, but then the confidence and just the bullying from other kids was making it very difficult. So his parents decided to homeschool him, and mom struggled to give him what he needed or be able to actually help him. Towards the end, we see that although he did make growth academically, his parents felt like he still needed a lot of discipline, so they enrolled him in a military academy. Some of the developmental concerns that came up for Nathan, in terms of cognitive issues, he had a phonemic awareness issue with written language. He couldn't actually read what was written, and he would spend so much of his energy and time trying to make sense of the sounds and the words that he was also having trouble with comprehension and just the output. This is something that I see a lot in my classroom, so this was the reason why I picked Nathan. In terms of social emotional development issues, he had very low self-esteem and confidence, and he was also displaying a lot of discipline issues because of what his issue was bringing up with other kids, or even him thinking that he was dumb. When it comes to physical development issues, fine motor skills was an issue because he was having trouble actually writing down. His mind was so busy and occupied thinking. He was able to picture the letters or the words, but he just had a really hard time. It was too much work to actually write it, the output. My topic of interest is dyslexia. Dyslexia is a language-based learning disability, and it creates difficulty for students to succeed academically in a general ed classroom. This is something, again, that I see all the time. It's one teacher with 25 plus students, and students with dyslexia do need a lot of very specific helps and supports in the classroom, which makes it very difficult when there's so many needs in a classroom and just one adult. The cause of dyslexia is not clear. People with dyslexia tend to have trouble with phonemic awareness, which makes it a key factor in reading difficulties. If they can't read, it's difficult for them to be able to write. Something I've noticed with my own kids, my own classroom, is that kids who struggle to read can't write, can't do some of the math because we do a lot of verbal word problems, so it just affects every area. I do see a lot of those kids start either acting up because they can't do it, or just having very low self-confidence. Anyone can be dyslexic, and some people with dyslexia are actually extremely bright. Diagnosis is through a comprehensive evaluation at school or sometimes pediatricians, and it is a lifelong condition. However, like mentioned before, just like Nathan, with proper help, people can actually succeed in the areas of difficulty. And people with dyslexia have rights. There can be 504 plans that can go with the child or with the person throughout their life to help them with accommodations or even just other ADA accommodations. The theory that I found related was Vygotsky. I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. The zone of proximal development, and this one came to me again because of what I do on a daily basis. For Vygotsky, he talks about the 3 learning zones: the too easy, the zone of proximal development, which is the one I will be focusing on, and then the zone where it's too hard. So the zone of proximal development refers to what a learner can do on his or her own, and with what they can achieve with the guidance, with the proper guidance. So the sweet spot for learning. And this zone of proximal development includes 4 main areas, which is scaffolding, differentiated instruction, peer learning and collaboration, as well as avoiding overwhelming or frustrating the dyslexic student. It is essential and extremely important to have adults, teachers, caregivers, parents who have the appropriate knowledge and skills to help kids with dyslexia to actually make growth. As we could see, Nathan made significant progress with the appropriate support. Some of the resources for families or teachers or just anyone who works with students with dyslexia. We have the Dyslexia Resource Center website and the International Dyslexia Association. Both websites provide multiple resources within, so I thought these were good to share. And these are just my presentation sources. I did use the International Dyslexia Association and Dyslexia Resource Center, as well as an article that I found that related to Vygotsky's theory, the PBS video, and another video about Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. Thank you.